Okay, so you've learned about the French Revolution, the causes, and the events. Now let's look at some of the effects. The effects of the French Revolution were long-standing and literally rippled throughout the world. You're going to see that as we talk today, and you'll see this in our next unit on the Latin American revolutions, where they never would have happened if it wasn't for the French. Now, right after the loss of power, right after the death of Maximilien Robespierre, the French people were very much lost. All right, they did not have a stable government. You had a group of gentlemen called the Directory that were attempting to rule over France. They were trying to stabilize the economy. They were trying to keep the military going because all these other countries, the neighbors of France, were attacking it, trying to, take it over. And these guys were not doing a very good job. And on the battlefield, fighting off all of these other European countries, was a general named Napoleon Bonaparte. And he was very gifted on the battlefield. He was a winner. And we all know that we love a winner. And he was beating back these foreign armies. He was proving he was a strong leader. And he realized that with the love of the French people behind him, he could go and probably take over France. And that's what he did. He went into Paris, overthrew the Directory in a coup d'etat, and just basically took over the whole country very nonviolently because the French people loved him. He was going to bring them the stability that they so badly needed. Napoleon immediately organized a new government and made himself the emperor. And you can see here in this picture that he looks like an emperor. In this painting, he has got the old style Roman olive leaf crown on his head, which is all gold. He's wearing the rich velvets and fur around his body. He's got a lot of gold with the staffs and things. He wants the French people to know that he is their leader. He is the emperor, and he saw himself as being the emperor. He was very high on himself and very much thought that he was the best thing to happen to France in a long time. The people supported him because he helped the people. One of the first things he did was he straightened out the economy. And we all know that people get upset when you mess with their money. He controlled the prices of food and of other things. He supported new industry so people could get jobs. And he built roads and canals so trading could happen again. And when people have money in their pocket, they're happier. So immediately people were very much taken with Napoleon. He also immediately opened up more schools, and they were free schools that the government backed so every child could get an education. He also put into practice his what we call the Napoleonic Code, and that was a legal code of laws that was based on Enlightenment ideas, and there very much was a positive effect of the French Revolution. They were all about the legal equality of all citizens, about people having religious toleration, meaning religious freedom, and this became the foundation for many countries today, law codes. Many countries took the Napoleonic Code and used it as their own with some minor, changes and things to it. So it was definitely a document that had long-standing effects around Europe. Now, you can see Napoleon didn't want to just stop with conquering France. He wanted to go worldwide. He really felt that he could and should rule all of Europe. So he started with his army conquering bits and pieces of Europe. And he replaced the monarchs mostly with his friends and family plan. And before you knew it, as you can see in this map, he had conquered most of Spain, Italy, going into Central and Eastern Europe, and even up north into the Finland area, so in Scandinavia countries. So he was very, very good on the battlefield, and his army supported him, and he kicked some butt. Unfortunately, not everybody in Europe liked Napoleon. specifically the English. As you can see here in this political cartoon, this shows a picture of Napoleon with the blue hat and kind of the shorter guy, because he was short, and a British admiral, okay, carving up the world. A lot of people saw Napoleon and the British or England as being the two big world powers during this time, and they were carving up the world for themselves, and a lot of countries did not like this. They were getting really nervous. A lot of people started having nationalistic ideas of, we want to be an independent country, we don't want to be ruled by England or France. Now in this cartoon here, you can see, now this is supposed to represent Napoleon, and he is getting stretched too far. You've got France on one side, and then in the corner here and the right side, you can see that's supposed to look like Russia with the Onion Dome influence buildings, and it's showing him getting stretched too far. He can't conquer so much land because he doesn't have the resources, he doesn't have the power, and you can see he's dropping his sword there, and he's dropping basically the world, meaning all of his power is going to be dropped. He's going to lose everything. In 1812, Napoleon decides that he is going to attack Russia. Not a good idea. The Russians are very, very fierce fighters, and they also have Mother Nature on their side with something we call the Russian winter. The Russians also practiced a policy called scorched earth, in which they retreat back deeper and deeper into their country, and they burn everything behind them. So there's no working water, there's no buildings, there's no food. They kill all the animals, they burn the crops in the fields, they poison the wells. This way, as the French are moving deeper and deeper into Russia, they can't take the resources around them because there's nothing left, and they start to die of hunger, and they start to die from the cold. Soon an alliance is brought about. The rest of the countries in Europe realize they can't take out Napoleon alone, and so they form an alliance between Britain, Russia, Austria, and Prussia, and they defeat him in 1814, forcing him to step down. Now, Napoleon comes back from this step down. They do not kill him. They force him on an island, and in 1815 he escapes the island, and he comes back and tries to fight again. The Russians, the British, and the Prussians, and the Austrians all work together, and they defeat him at the Battle of Waterloo, and that finally is the end of Napoleon. At the end, Napoleon was exiled to the rest of his life on an island, and he ended up dying there. And you can see in these two different paintings that you have one, Napoleon looking over the ocean, being stuck on the island, but still wearing his military uniform, still looking very regal. And then you have the other, with him in a very defeated looking Napoleon. He does not look healthy. He's got a little bit of a gut on him. He looks tired. His boots are dirty. His jacket's, wrinkly, and he just looks like a loser. And Napoleon's power had run its course, and the people were done with him. So he would die on this island, but the effects from his Napoleonic Code to his education system are going to live on and have huge impacts all around Europe.